That's a really good documentary. It's insane. I just want you to watch that as well too. And Dizzy, I agree. It's about the 13th Amendment, but it's called 13th. It's about the prison industrial complex. How is it still in slavery? We're still in slavery. Not only capitalism is a form of slavery, but also that is very much enacted to this day. And white folks as a society is still upholding these old ass thought processes and things that was very much written by what they were calling psychology, sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists. Those people are very much not human in some form or fashion, and so you have white tea people as still upholding things that is very much inhumane. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for all the resources, and I've written them down. Thank you.
Okay, let me see. The Funky Phantom, welcome to the live. What's your age and race and your thoughts on the prompt?
And stick around if you want to, Chrissy.
Okay, age is 59, race is black. White tea people, why does True History trigger, U.S. history trigger your white tea guilt? I think I don't know, they're not ready to accept it. That's what I think. But another thing is, always see these prompts on these lives saying, can black people, BLK people be racist? And they just beat that horse to death. And they just can't understand that, what we do is reaction to their racism. You know what I mean? It's not like we're just going out and being racist. It's just, we react to their racism. And when we do that, they try to put us in their boat and say, oh, yeah, you're just like us. So, yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, we have a prompt that we've done where it says, responding to racism isn't racism.
Right. Exactly. So, but a guy gave me an analogy last night. He said, well, if let's say 5 BLK guys jump on a white T guy, is that racism? And I'm like, dude, that is just so stupid. It's just such a false equivalence. You did both. He said, if 5 white T guys jumped on a black guy, or if 5 black BLK guys jumped on one white guy, that's racism. And I'm like, oh God. And they, like I said, they just won't accept reality and facts and history. I don't know why they just won't accept it. That's a $1 million question. Why won't they accept it?
Well, because they're not educated on the history. They're not educated on what racism is. And to us, I really don't like using dictionary definitions. I try to tell other YT people, well, look at how it's functioned. How racism has functioned in this country has been race-based chattel slavery, Jim Crow, and mass incarceration today. Things that YT people have never been targeted with. Like, that's not for us. Yes, of course, YT people go to prison, but we're not the targets of mass incarceration.
Or redlining,
Yeah. And so a lot of that's, we've just never been the target of it.
Right, but they just won't accept it. They just want us in their boat. They want us to be just like they are. And, like I said, it's reaction. When we do stuff, it's a reaction. It's not that we're initiating this stuff.
Right. And I think it's a way in our heads. I think we do it to try to diminish what racism is when we go, well, I experience it too. Like, I think we try to deflect from it. But, being called a name, to me, here's the difference, right? Like, if I get called a honky or a cracker, there's no historical dehumanization of white people. That's why I could care less about those words. But
Right.
the N word is so dehumanizing that we use that, and we don't even say you can't even say it's socially unacceptable to even say that word. Yet everybody knows which word is the N word because
Right.
it's so dehumanizing. That's the difference. YT people are not dehumanized. Like, as far as like implemented in systems, you could have small groups, whatever, because white people love to point at the black Israelites. But what laws, policies, or procedures are the black Israelites implementing in this country that oppress white people? Not one.
Not one.
So, I mean, it's always trying to, and I've had plenty of white people go, well, it's not just one group. It's all of us. Of course it's them too. No, it's not. White people started the social construct of race. White people uphold white supremacy, and only we can end it because we're the ones who are doing it.
Yeah, but you can't get it through their head. They're just in denial and been in denial for so long that my question is, okay, where do you think this country is going to end up in the direction it's going now? I know our current
Do I have to answer that?
yeah, with our current chief, our current president, he doesn't, I've never heard him once try to, deconstruct or, say, hey, everybody's equal. Let's stop this. We're all Americans. I haven't heard that come out of his mouth at
Of
all.
course not. Of course not. Even if you said that, it will be a lie, brother. The thing about this nation is that it's based off lies. Everything about it, the stuff that comes out of a vast majority of
Yep.
white people, and especially white men in those positions of power, are all lies. And we've already know that Donald Trump is just a reflection of what this country and this system stands for. That's why he's able to do what he's doing, because at the end of the day, what they're concerned about is the ideal of white supremacy, the concept. They don't care about not having food on the table, or making sure that they have affordable health care, or any of those types of things. What they're worried about is keeping up this fake illusion as established and propagating for centuries. And for Black folks, what we believing that we are part of a society that was very much built for white supremacy and white people. Specifically white men, because white women wasn't necessarily considered at the time equal. But the point I'm making is that they've sold us an illusion to believe that we're a part of something that we never was. We're very much a part of it in a way of a labor. When we've been the labor class, and the whole intention is to be permanent. And the how capitalism functions, which is a part of that, is to keep us in those positions. But it's and you were asking about how how this country is going, and how these systems are functioning. It's very much collapsing as we speak. And society is already showing you that, because when they've already have a known narcissist, a malignant one, right? That's the worst type of narcissist that a individual could be. And knowing that about that man goes to tell you how this society has already fallen, brother. It's already fallen, because why would you put a narcissist in that position of power in the first place, knowing that with what he does and where he comes from, and also we already experienced 4 years with him. So that goes to tell you they don't give a shit about none of that. It's about the idea, the illusion. And what Black folks need to do is stop buying into this bullshit, and need to wake up and decolonize our minds, and get to that point. I just want to say that.
Right. And I would like to believe collectively that white people are, they treat everybody like they want to be treated. I would say collectively, I would like to think that. you know. But, like I said, it's not about them. It's about until they stand up and say, hold up, we can't do this. We should stop doing this collectively as a whole. But, I don't think it's a lot of white supremacy out there, but they are the ones that are in power at this present moment.
Oh, sir.
What gives you that thought process to not believe that this illusion of white, this idea, which is not even white supremacy, is like a form of white inferiority in complex, but like what gives you that conclusion? Like how so?
When I say that collectively, I think they're not. It's just me trying to be positive about the situation. I'm out in this world, real life, and I travel a lot. I'm a truck driver, and I think for the most part, everybody, as far as what I've seen, like I said, I travel all over the country, and I think for the most part, everybody treats everybody, black and white, treats them how they want to be treated.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, brother. And that's the thing. We having these rose-colored glasses on is how we end up alive in the first place. Like we have to stop doing that shit. Like because you love somebody. Like I'm so sick of something, and I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make this because this is not our space to do so. But black folks, stop thinking that way. That's how we end up unalive. Stop thinking because I love you that this society love us back. They never have loved us back, and so we need to stop coming up with rose-colored glasses, keeping our head low, saying that I'm going to think positive, but yet the harm is still enacted on us. And you talk about truck drivers, brother. Didn't some of the truck drivers go strange fruiting this year? Come on, brother. But I'll land there.
I'll just say that before Jazzy goes, white supremacy has taught YT people to lack empathy, compassion, and humanity. That's why we look back at the atrocities that we have committed as a collective and ignore them and play them off and come on these lives and say garbage like you have a victim mentality or boo-hoo. We have no humanity. Why would you love people who don't have humanity for you? Just my question. But Jazzy, welcome to the live. What's your age and race and your thoughts on the prompt?
My age and race is 69 and 11 months. And my thought on the prompt, you already know what that is. I only came up here for one reason, but you could drop me back. Hey, Granny. I love
He's
Grammy.
probably, oh, there she is.
I love Grammy. Hey, Jay, I actually came up here to check that brother, man, but you already done it. So, John Brown, you could drop me back down, but I came up here to check him with them last words that he said out his mouth. I don't know what the hell is wrong with him. That's almost like, you'll hear somebody, White T, talk about Detroit and Chicago and all the crime and all that shit, but they've never been to neither one of those fucking places or even encountered a black person. But anyway, at any rate, Jay, you checked him. John Brown, thanks for bringing me up.
This is your birthday month, right?
No, next month.
Oh, July. Okay. Early though, right?
Yeah.
Second?
Hey, when I was born the day after the 4th of July.
Oh, July 5th. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's good to remember. I hope I remember.
But I'll be up here raising hell.
Okay.
Y'all laugh on that day. But anyway, John Brown, just go ahead and drop me down. I don't want to interfere with the live. I don't want to do harm to it. Jay handled that shit. He handled what I was thinking in my head. So I'm good.
And I just want to say that
right,
to the brother like that was up here too. It's not about. I don't want to check. I just want to just clearly correct some things that was said, and I understand that it sometimes comes from a subjective space, but I also don't want to do that amongst mixed company. And what black folks, I want to just let you know that if we're going to be able to correct or check whatever, I feel like we should start doing that on a little bit more on a private space. If in that way, but I didn't want to do that in front of mixed company. But I just wanted to say that, if that that makes sense, y'all. But yeah, I'll go back on mute.
So real quick, Randy wants to ask what I'm doing about racism. I have my platform. I've had this platform for over 4 years. I've been having discussions with white people since I was a kid about like our racism. So, Randy, if that's not, good enough, then, hey, this is what I do.
I have a question
I
for Randy.
Go ahead.
What's Randy doing? Is Randy a white man? I'd like to know what Randy is doing and what makes him think that he can even ask that. Like if anybody who needs to be out there and be like, look at what I'm doing, click, 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 here's some pictures, look at what I'm doing, click, click, click. Like, that's fucking weird. You should do what you're doing and do it with your mouth shut, your head down, and get it done. You shouldn't need to, announce it to everybody. That's weird. Just saying.
Defunct, brother, I brought you back up just to say your last thoughts, because this conversation is centered for white tea people, and I
I
didn't want to center us too much, brother. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
But I hear you. But I'll go on mute so you can get out what you needed to say.
Yeah, I think I was misunderstood about, my thinking. I mean, I grew up in this, in the 60s and early 70s. Trust me, it's different from when I was in high school and growing up. I mean, you could literally put hands on people and wouldn't get kicked out of school forever and all that. I mean, and trust me, I've done a lot. But and at the same time, I've had friends, white tee friends, that till this day, they will ride for me and I will ride for them. That's plain and simple. As far as being checked on my thinking, I'm in a good place. I'm in a very good place. So yeah, I appreciate you bringing me back up.
Yeah, but that still doesn't negate the fact that they benefit from a system based off oppression and
Yes, sir.
your oppression of you and other people that look like you and your family. Just because they're your friends and you feel like they're a ride for you, that's great and all. But it doesn't take away from how they benefit. If you really want to know if they're your friends, are you having the conversations about racism and
With
how they
them, yeah,
benefit from it? Huh?
all the time,
Okay.
and they're against it.
Uh-huh.
And they
Yeah.
do things to try to, if there's a situation, they like, hell no, and like I said, I mean, from my past experience, I'm not saying all, I'm just saying the ones that I've grew up with and have been associated with,
Yeah.
they're good people. That's just
great.
plain and
That's great
simple.
and all. But I'm asking you, what are they doing to make that change?
Whenever the situation, from what I see, what they do, from my situation, my experiences, they always fight it. And they say,
What are they doing when you're not looking?
I don't know what they're doing when I'm not looking, but around me, they always, and around other white tea people, they always, they speak the truth. So, like I said, I appreciate you bringing me back up, but
Yeah.
all
I
that,
just want to say,
them talking about wanting to
yeah.
check me was crazy.
No, it's all good. I just want to say is that you should be paying attention. You should be finding out what they're doing when you're not looking. Okay, that's great and all that you feel like that you have those types of people in your space. But I tell you this, they know where their rate. What I would say is their positioning in the system. They very well know where they are. Would they want to be black? Ask them that. Ask them, do they want to be black, or would they want to be? Would they change places with you? Okay. Ask them that, and also look and see what they're doing when you're not looking. But I'm gonna
Okay.
put you down. I'm gonna drop you down. Okay. And appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for letting me up. Appreciate it.
And I just want to say, you got to understand here. We're not like I get accused, Grammy gets accused of hating white people. We don't hate white people. We hate racism and white supremacy. And if you're fucking upholding it, which all of us do, you have to learn new information to not do that. I mean, this has been going on for centuries. And white people love to go, oh, we've done all these things for Western civilization. We're civilized, da 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 da. But then they need white supremacy as a crutch. They don't want, white men are 27% of the population in this country, but are 83% of the CEOs. Like, the racial wealth gap is huge because of white supremacy, and white people don't want to change that. This country has moved mountains for white people to gain economic upward mobility, and have also moved mountains to suppress black economic upward mobility. When you look at the real history of this country, that's what we've done. The racial wealth gap, it hasn't, actually it's widening. I think it's worse now than it was in 1865. How about that shit? How about that? The racial wealth gap, or from 100 years ago, it's worse now because they found better ways to suppress economic upward mobility for black people. Like, let's be real. And I don't know, being a good person, being a good man, being a good American, I don't think that's being a good, either it's being none of those things. If white supremacy and racism exist. And the first thing white people will go, oh yeah, racism exists. But we're the first fucking ones to go, oh yeah, it'll never end. No, we'll never end it. But that's on us. We can make that change. We refuse to. And it's easy. It's all it is having accountability, getting educated, and stop these white supremacist lies. It's not gonna, it's not gonna be physically painful. But I mean, don't you want to live up to what the people, we talk about this country being about, rights and freedoms and liberty and justice. It never has been. That's what I want. I'll never see a country where I'd be proud enough to stand at a sporting event, take off my hat and, say the Pledge of Allegiance, or whatever they say. I'm not doing that. Not while, oppression is happening in this country to people who are not white. I'm not fucking doing it. So, well, it says it's called elitism, but the poorest white people uphold white supremacy. You don't have to be elite to be racist and uphold white supremacy. And I come from a poor family. I want us to be better. Good morning, Medusa. But how do we make a change again? If I continue to think and talk and act like my Jim Crow father and grandfather, I've done nothing. I'm just, it's insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I cannot think like those men and make a better country for everybody.
John, there's a guest.
Yes. Hi, Reem. Welcome to the live. What's your age and race and your thoughts on the prompt?
My age is 38 and my race is black, and I accidentally came up here, but since I'm up here, I will answer it to keep the algorithm.